Football Manager. You manage in football.
This is what he flipping does!
Yeah, honestly, he's a genius. I've never seen the likes of like the intelligence and brain on this pause on that. It's an addictive and in-depth sim. We as Football Manager fans lock ourselves away in our gaming dungeon for 9 hours and then attempt to win ourselves the Champions League with a team from Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe isn't in Europe. Players at the game have been known to indulge in a Football Manager save whilst away on holiday, traveling around the globe during a child's parents' evening, or maybe even whilst their wife is giving birth. Yeah, look, I'm gonna need you to push right now. Mate, I'm not being funny. I'm already on very attacking. I don't really know what else you want me to do here. But this year's Football Manager is not the same. Glitches all over the place, missing features, and one of the worst reviews on Steam of any video game in all history. Is Football Manager 2026 really that bad? Well, whether it's good or bad, you can catch me playing it. Get me over on Twitch, doing a live save in the mighty Romania. How's everyone doing? Aye, someone said squirts immediately. Yeah, it's alright. We have great fun. It's really great vibes. So if you are a big fan or you didn't know that I streamed, then you can check out the link down in the description or the pinned comment. So background for those that don't already know. FM24, certified good game. It didn't have a crazy amount of new features, but it felt like the most refined version of Football Manager that Sports Interactive, who make the game, could possibly go and put out to ourselves as fans. It gets to 2025 though, and SI suddenly realized, you know what, this is a great game and everybody loves it, but it kind of looks like the graphics were made on a Toshiba dishwasher. Like, genuinely, if we ran Declan Rice through a landline telephone, he'd look better than in here. If you play a PlayStation 2 match on the gearbox of a Southern Rail train, it would look infinitely... Okay, you get the picture. The graphics were very, very bad for a game that was being released in 2023/2024. If I saw Hagrid from PlayStation 1 Harry Potter running through the middle of these, I would not be surprised at all.
Hello, Harry, it's me, Hagrid.
But the reality is, for most of us Football Manager fans, we kind of don't really care. We'd love to see good graphics, but I personally don't really play the game for graphics. And a lot of hardcore Football Manager fans don't either. It's more about the feeling that you're managing a football club. The players don't need to look particularly good because, to be honest with you, that's one of the last things I'm actually thinking about when I'm trying to win a team from the 7th tier of Nigerian football, the African Champions League.
I took Woking from the conference to the Champions League in 6 seasons.
But the problem is, they were getting too bad, all right? And for a wider audience, for a new audience, or potentially even for a console audience, that really wasn't gonna cut it. Sports Interactive weren't gonna be able to expand their game at all beyond their hardcore fan base. For those new fans, you're gonna need to step things up a little bit, and that's what SI decided to do. Moving the game to the Unity engine, which promised to make the game look a lot better, the players look a lot better, and the game kind of run a lot smoother as well, with a brand new UI and main menus and stuff. Then it was time for them to release FM25, and it was a steaming hot pile of shit. We got screenshots, they looked absolutely atrocious. The game was eventually delayed till March, and when March came around, we had nothing. In an unprecedented turn of events, Football Manager was cancelled, a game that has come out every year. I actually don't know that I've not played Football Manager for like 20 years like a lot of other people, but I think this was the first time that an FM had ever been skipped since its induction. This was absolutely massive news. Sega, who owns Sports Interactive, then took a break from making Sonic the Hedgehog look like a serial killer who just ingested 13 kilograms of ketamine to slap Miles Jacobson, the leader of the SI team, on his buttocks. Presumably. It then put a lot of pressure on FM26. This didn't just have to be a good game, it had to be a game worth waiting 2 years for. Staff members at the company would be working in overdrive. FM26 devs staying up night and day, doing 26-hour day shifts just to get this game on shelves, and things were going well originally. We had a decent amount of communications from the moment that SI actually announced FM26 was going to be a thing. We got quite a few trailers that were pretty good, apart from the music being the same shitty beat in every single fucking one of them, but the graphics looked nice. We had a new Premier League deal that allowed for all the naming rights, all of the club badges, all of the graphics, and they were flashing that in our faces more than a Lily Phillips meet and greet. But to be honest, they were looking good. The graphics, not the Lily Phillips meet and greet. I wasn't in the queue, I swear down. Not only that, but the graphics did actually look like a major step up. Stadiums looked like actual football stadiums with buildings and actual trees around them. Animations of players looked better. The goals they were scoring were far more, realistic. People were even doing skill moves in the game, for fuck's sake. We've never even seen that before. But soon, stuff started to go downhill, because little did we realize a team in the back of the office were deciding to fuck about with things for absolutely no reason whatsoever.
Why did you do that?
funny.
While the game testing department were continuing to test it on a Nokia flip phone for the 50% that they insisted still played this game on terrible laptops and machines, another team was crafting the UI, and boy were they making it as annoying as physically possible. It immediately looked like it was made for a console audience with panels and pop-ups kind of all over the place, which to me isn't even that bad, as long as it's still usable on a PC. The problem was, it kind of wasn't. It was designed seemingly for a TikTok audience, but if you gave this game to a 6-year-old with ADHD and a crippling lack of an attention span, they would quite literally blow up the machine they're playing on within about 26 seconds. And look, trust me, I want to like this UI. There's parts of it that genuinely look beautiful, and it looks like more modern than the UI that FM had before. There's even some parts of it that are actually pretty helpful, that probably don't get their flowers because the game is a mess overall. I'm looking at you, registration screen. This makes registering players and knowing what you need to do, maybe what players you might need to sign, homegrown players, under 21 players, for example, incredibly easy in comparison to before. But there were so many screens that now needed far more clicks than was needed before. And I know that sounds like it's such a first world problem. I don't mind things getting moved around, that's fine, I'll learn how to get to them. But some things are just outright stupid, like they don't make any sense. For example, if you want to sit down and have a team meeting with your squad, let's say you're on the verge of being sacked, or maybe you're on the verge of winning a piece of silverware, where would you go if you wanted to conduct a team meeting based on the bars at the top? It would probably be squad, maybe. They're your squad and you're going to talk to them. No, it isn't in there. Maybe you go to club because they're players within your club, and that would make no, it's not in there either. You have to right click on your own club in a specific screen. It's hidden. You will never find it unless you just accidentally do it to hold a team meeting, which can be a very important thing. It might save you a job. It might turn around a bit of form, like, you know, if you're losing 4 games in a row. The training screen looks like I'm trying to crack the Da Vinci Code. This is absolutely shit. The loan screen is absolutely terrible. The international squads, I don't know about you guys, but if this is a pro tip actually, I mean, well, it's not really anymore because it's shit now. But a really good way of finding young and cheap wonder kids on FM is to scroll through international teams. In the game, you'll get a list of them organized by continent, right? You could start at Algeria, for example. I think that's the first one alphabetically, and then go all the way through Africa, and you'll probably find like 10 wonder kids that are really cheap that play for shit teams that you can sign. It's one of my favorite ways of scouting in the game. They have now made it so that every single like team, so the senior team and all the youth squads are separate, and they put all the women's teams in there as well, even though you can't actually sign players from the women's teams if you're a men's side, and vice versa, obviously. So this task has now been made about 7 or 8 times longer. Got to sift through more teams. The menu itself looks absolutely terrible, and then you've got to do it for every single youth squad that there could possibly be, which in Europe is about 5 of them. So it's rendered it completely useless, which I think is personally pretty shit. And it didn't need to change. They didn't need to do that at all. I don't understand why that happened. There are some things that are pop-outs, like little mini screens, that shouldn't be. The finances are quite important. I'd like to see how much money my club has. It's impossible to find unless you go through 4 different screens. If you want to start off as an unemployed manager, you don't even get the option to find what jobs are available. You just get an email that tells you 5, and then that's it. There might be other jobs around the world that you could take up, but you won't find out about them. There's not enough info, really, in the match screen. Loads of stats have been taken away, like pass maps, heat maps, all this jazz. And speaking of in-game, not a lot of the in-game stuff is bad. It definitely looks a lot better than the last FM, but goalkeepers are clinically blind, and rebounds, your defenders will take 3 to 5 business weeks to react to anything. They've removed loads of things from the game without telling people. One thing they did tell people was going to be gone was shouts and stuff, where if your team's body language was quite poor, you could encourage them or berate them or praise them. That's now completely gone, so it doesn't even really feel like you can impact the game too much from the sidelines, apart from literally just changing the tactics. That's it. But on top of that, this game has more bugs than I'm a Celeb's shopping list.
Get me out of this shithole!
In the first like 2 days alone, 48 hours, there was about 1,000 bug reports, and they were bad as well. They were crushing people's game, and they were making things unplayable. Speaking of which, the console version of the game is absolutely unplayable. The in-game editor is broken. The touch version of FM doesn't work. They missed their own deadline for putting the game live. When it came to release date, they just took the beta watermark off because they hadn't had a chance to actually add loads of fixes to the game. How do you even do that? They continually shoot themselves in the foot at any given opportunity when they could win the trust back of their audience. So hardcore FM26 fans are depressed, new FM26 26 fans are depressed. EAFC 26 fans are depressed. They're not even really involved in this video, but that game's like wank and all. This game was clearly designed for a console, but also for PC, and somehow managed to be for neither. So what does that leave Football Manager 26? I mean, I've seen a lot of, YouTubers and content creators on the game talking about it in great detail, and ultimately speaking, whilst I've ranted a lot, I have played this game a decent amount, and I still kind of enjoy it. There are a lot of bugs that have been fixed now. Even as I'm recording this video, they've just dropped a patch that's brought back being able to go through emails with the space bar instead of arrows, which everyone was complaining about, which I agree with. I thought that was stupid. Alongside a lot of other bug fixes as well. They are clearly trying to mop up their mess, but it really highlights just poor decision making that's going on. Imagine they just said the game comes out on the 19th of November. No one would have cared. We would have been fine with that. It would have given them like 3 extra weeks to sort this shit out, and it wouldn't have come across like such an unfinished game at a point where Sports Interactive and Football Manager really needed to win back the trust of their audience. We're going to have international tournaments coming back into the game soon, because with the World Cup round the corner, they also announced a partnership with FIFA, which I think is absolutely amazing, and if that works properly, I think that's worth not having it in the game for like the first 6 months. That's actually a really good achievement, and there are really good achievements. The base level of this game is so good. The potential of it is so high, but they've really made a hash of it. So for me, someone at Sports Interactive has to take responsibility more than anything for the poor communication and lack of ability in hitting deadlines. That's actually the crux of the problem. The game, yes, is missing some features, but they've had to add a lot of things into this game. The UI is completely different. Women's football's in the game. The engine's completely different. The cutscenes are completely different. The players look different. The match engine's completely different. There are a lot of things they had to change, right? Just give yourselves the time to do it. Take a touch on the ball. Not every time you just gotta volley it like first time. Just take a touch, work out what you're able to actually achieve, and communicate that fluidly with your audience. That's it. That is really and truly all you have to do. This release has been a systematic failure, kind of not from start to finish, because there was a point that was good, but the release of the game was an absolute shambles, and it was only a shambles because they gave themselves 2 weeks too little. Just announced the game's coming out on like the 20th of November. I don't think a single soul would have particularly cared. It still would have gone out around about the time that it usually drops. I mean, pretty much to the date if it was that, and you'd have given yourself that extra time to make sure the game was finished. A finished version of this game still isn't perfect. The UI is annoying. There are certain things that are pop-outs that shouldn't be, and things are too fiddly and clicky. But all of the bugs, all of the game crashes, and some of the stupid shit that they just clearly didn't think about could have been solved. The console version would work properly. If this game was just bug-free, the version of itself, it might still be a little bit of a downgrade from FM24 overall. But again, the potential is so high that next year's game would probably blow FM24 out of the water. What do you guys think, though, about this situation? Is Football Manager an absolute steaming pile of shit like the Steam reviews would indicate, or do you think it's getting a little bit of an unfair rap? Do you guys still have fun playing it? If you do, and as I said, if you are a avid viewer and you do like the game, then make sure to follow me over on Twitch. I'm doing a save over there live and direct. If you've enjoyed this video though, feel free to slap a like on it and subscribe if you're new to the channel. You can also follow me on social media. It is at @theofficialfng on Twitter and on Insta. But it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.